So we have an unordered list in our code, and in here I see that we have the first element with this dark background and with this light color, and the rest of the elements have these different light background colors with a white and a dark color. So I have to replicate this on my list. So let me go back to my app. This is my list. So for this one I'm going to target the section right here, the game features. So I already have an ID, and I'm going to open up my styling, and I'm going to go here and say, okay, target this element with ID game feature inside their style, target all the UL or the LI elements inside the UL. Let me add an outline to actually see what I'm targeting, and I can see, of course, the elements. Remember that we have some extra margin, some extra padding, some bullet point styling for the UL element by default, so let's get rid of them. So I'm going to select the UL, and I'm going to reset the margin to 0, and I'm going to also set the padding left to 0. So now I got rid of the extra padding. You probably don't see it, but if I add an outline, you will see there's an extra space at the left side. And also let me get rid of the list style, so I can set list style to none, and now I have my list. I also need a larger font size, so I will use the same size that I see here on the nav menu. I think in the inside this layout, all the text elements, all the main text elements like the list at the bottom, the copyright, the features, the navigation have exactly the same font size. So once again, I'm going to use a single variable to set a font size and apply this font size to all the elements that have this, let's say, same height. So I'm going to go here, pick the font size from this element and apply it to here. So this navigation here, I will go to my navigation main menu. This is my font size, so I'm going to grab the font size and move it to the top, to the variables, and I will say text normal. So I will just create a variable that will have like the normal text font size for most of my text in my design, and I will use this here, and I can also use this variable in my UL that I'm right now. Font size, so we have this, and I think we have some, yeah, and we also have, I think, a little bit of a font weight that's larger, so let's go with 700. I think this is the weight that we're looking for. And also let's use text transform because everything is in uppercase inside that box. Okay, so bold letters, large font size, and we also have some space. As you can see, this, as you can guess, the space around the content, the space around the text is the padding. So let me also go here. So you can see here there's some space. I'm not sure whether I can. Okay. So the content in the middle, the padding, the space, and then there's also some border here. So let's go here and no, this is not going to be needed anymore. So inside each li element, I'm going to add a padding of 0.5 rems. Let's see how that looks. I think we can go a little bit more than that. And probably from what I see in the design, there is an extra space, an extra padding to the left and the right side. So the padding at the top and the bottom is less than the left and the right side. So for this one, this padding shortcut will apply 0.75 rems to all the sides of the box model, top, left, right, bottom. but I can switch from this to actually this syntax, and I can go even a little bit further, like 3 REMs. So this syntax is basically a shortcut or a shorthand for top and bottom and left and right. So the second value is the left and the right padding, and the first value 0.75 is the top and bottom. Okay, I can see that I have that everything looks nice. Let me get rid of the outline for now, and I also need to switch to text align center, because the text in my mockup are aligned like here in the center and not aligned in the left, which is the default text alignment. So I'm going to switch from text align left to text align center. Okay, of course I cannot see like the outlines or the borders of these of the boxes, so I'm going to apply some background color to this element. So for these elements I need a dark background color for the first child, and for the rest of the LI elements I need this light color. So let's go here and target all the elements for now and give them a background. I will use once again my variables to apply the text light color. Now I could probably use another variable to come up with a better name, a better variable for the background light color. So let me go here, and instead of text light color, let me change this BG light color. So it's more appropriate, because maybe I want to change the text light color but not the background light color. Okay, and now I will override this setting. Let me also add like 1 rem here. I think it's slightly better. So I have this color. I will override the background color for the first child of the UL list. So I'm going to go here and say, okay, the first child is going to have a different background. So background color would be variable dark BG color. That's it. And the color of the text would be I think is the text light color. Okay, so we're closer to our box that we see here. The only thing that's missing is this light gray border, so I can apply that. And of course there's a slight gray border at the bottom beneath its like li element, and then there's this white thing in the numbers inside here. So let's see how we can do this. So let's start with a simple, the easy one, which is to apply a border of 4 pixels solid, and I think we had the this border too, this gray, and then we also have a border bottom. So we can either apply border bottom at the second, third, and fourth element. So let's see, maybe there are different ways like that we can target just the elements that we need for the border bottom, because the border bottom is not only applied to these like 3 elements. So I will say nth, I could use the nth child to select the second element and apply a border bottom that would be like 2 pixels solid, and I think that's kind of like has the color. No, that doesn't look nice, so I will just pick for now a color like something like gray. Okay, normally I would go to the inspector, use the I draw picker and select the color, create a variable. For now I will just skip it, but you get the idea. Maybe I need a lighter gray. No, maybe a darker gray. We see dark. Okay, I will just use the hexadecimal to see whether I can come up with something like, I don't know. I will come up with a grade. I'm just experimenting here, but normally you would go and check the color from the image. Okay, I have the second child to have like a border bottom. Now I need to add also the rest of the child, so I will use the comma selector for selecting more elements. So I want the third one, and I also want the fourth one. Okay, we have this border. Maybe we make it a little bit thinner, like 1 pixel, and I think it's a little bit closer to what we see inside the mockup. So let's compare. We have this table and we have our table, and I think they look pretty similar. Maybe some extra padding, I would say, would work here. So I think there's quite some space on the left and right side, so more padding on the li. And the last thing I want to do in order for this table to look exactly like my mockup is to actually make these areas have a different color, a white color. So for this one, I will go here, and there's I have to find a way to target just this part of the text that's inside the parentheses and apply a different color. So I cannot use like the li selector, because if I use the li selector and apply color white, it will select all the content in the li and of course make all the content white. So in order to just target these elements, I will have to wrap them inside an element and target that element. So I'm going to go and create a span. The span is the perfect inline element for this. So I can either create a span and place them, place these numbers between, or I can select all the numbers. I think I use, let me see, I don't remember. There's a shortcut for selecting. Let me see if I remember. Okay, right now I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. There's a shortcut for selecting multiple things in the VS Code. For now, I will just select this one. I will open the command palette with Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P on Mac. Select wrap, and I will select emmet wrap with abbreviation. This will allow me to enter the element that I want to wrap around the selected value. So select the element, command palette, wrap with abbreviation, span, and enter. I will do the same thing here, and then here, and now I have these spans that enclosing the elements that should be white. This is what the spans are used for. So now I will have to go inside my game features and get this selector. So find this li inside the li span, find all the spans, and then give them a color white, which is okay, I don't have a white here, so let me just create a variable for that. No, I have the text hover color. I will use a different one, like highlighted. I will just use another variable just for the highlighted, let's say, elements in the list. So I will use this CSS variable. Okay, I now have exactly what I need. You can see the styling is almost the same as this one. There's some letter spacing, so you can see the letters here. They're not exactly like my styling. The letters are a little bit, the characters between, the space between the letters are a little bit closer to each other than here. So I'm going to add some space between the characters by using a CSS property. So I'm going to go to the UL and set the letter spacing, that is the letter spacing. If I set this to something big like 1 rem, you will see this a huge base. So I think 0.1 is something that looks a little bit similar to what I see here. So I believe that's like a proper, or maybe 1.515 or something like that. Anyway, I mean, you can play around with these values. Okay, perfect. We have this section ready. Let's move on to the next section, which is actually pretty easy to deal with.